everyone, and a warm welcome to our members. Thank you for joining the webinar. I would like to thank our President, Kamlesh Bhai, and our speaker for today, Mihir Bhai. Before we start the webinar, our theme is awareness and networking. Awareness to introduce Fpme to various government, regulatory bodies, and present our concern to export policies. Networking is to add more merchant exporters from different parts of the country to strengthen Fpme. To keep our members updated, we have annual calendars of webinars and fireside chat to discuss and make a roadmap for exports. Let us begin with the webinar. We will have a topic-wise session and a question answer followed after the session. I would request members to post the questions in the chat box. And I would now request Mihir Bhai to please take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and very good evening to everyone. Good to connect with all of you after long. I think it was an insistence that we do a webinar very regularly, and I think great that we could fix up a date for today. Thank you so much for all of you joining in good numbers. I only hope now that sooner or later we will do this in person so that it is much more interactive and much more helpful than on a webinar platform. Never said that, it is always great to at least pass on the information and details what are available to you. Session today, which we are focusing on, is very clearly on the RoDTEP scheme. Ideally, not a very new scheme now. It is there since January of 21, but unfortunately for pharma sector, it wasn't there. Rightly or wrongly, for whatever reason, let's not go into the details of it, why it wasn't, and with all might of every pharma association, including Fpme, the good news is that we now have the RoDTEP available for the chapter 30, which is the pharma sector. But putting aside that what is available and what is not available, let us understand the entire scheme. So for all those who have not been availing it, or for all those who are not very sure of it, at least now you are aware that this is how it is going to happen. And at least make sure that whatever is available, we are able to claim correctly. As already informed to you, you can pose your questions and queries on the chat. And if possible, my request and humble suggestion would be, since we are on Zoom, which is a very simple interface, if you could switch on your videos, it would be great to interact and understand from each other. So very quickly, let us just start with understanding what or how did this thing came up. So RoDTEP scheme is effective of 1st of January of 2021. So on late evening on December 31st, we did receive a press note which said that effective of 1st of January, RoDTEP will be applicable. And that was it. In fact, there were no rates announced. In fact, the circular also said that the rates will be announced at a much later time. Now, I want to go back to one common problem and a common misconception which everyone has. I understand this from an exporter perspective, but let us understand the facts of it. RoDTEP is not a replacement of MEIS. Please don't consider that. In fact, if you start saying so, you will end up more troubles. Of course, it is not at all, but it is more troublesome than anything else, because the very purpose that MEIS got closed is because it was a promotion scheme, and because United States of America went to WTO against us, and we almost, or we can say we have not been able to successfully defend it, though it is under appeal, but the scheme had to be closed. The reason being, the bottom line being, that India is now having a per capita income of more than $1,000. It is no more a developing country. So certain subsidies and measures cannot be given. MEIS was considered as that subsidy. Now, technically, if you consider RoDTEP as a replacement, that means old wine in new bottle, then trust me, people will start taking objective against this, and that will be a problem for all of us. So please understand, yes, the situation does happen that your MEIS goes away and RoDTEP comes in, but please understand it is not a replacement of MEIS. It is completely a different scheme. The underlying principle is different. If you have read through or if you have ever listened to what is MEIS, it was a promotion scheme. In fact, technically, it came under Chapter 3 of the Foreign Trade Policy, whereas RoDTEP is a remission of duties and taxes on exported product. It is a refund of actual duty foregone or actual duty paid, and technically is under Chapter 4 of the Foreign Trade Policy. So please understand, it is completely 100% different. Let's not start painting the same thing. Obviously, as an exporter, you will say, sir, how does it differentiate with me? It differentiates because this is going to remain for long. This is so-called WTO compliant. So please don't paint it with the same brush. And in fact, that's precisely the reason you'll realize at the later part of the discussion that why RoDTEP rates are much lower than your so-called MEI, because it is not a replacement of it. It is completely different scheme. Now, what does this RoDTEP scheme, as the name suggests, it says remission of duties and taxes on exported product. Now, if you go back and understand the export as a principle, the government always has an understanding that we should export goods and not taxes. So any form of taxes which is levied on export product or exported product is refunded to you. If you go back and understand, if you want to import raw material or there's an imported raw material, the basic customs duty gets foregone through advance authorization or duty drawback. It gets refunded to you. Your machineries are imported under EPCG scheme, so that duty is refunded to you. Your GST, which is part of your goods, gets refunded to you because it is exports is a zero rated supply. In short, directly or indirectly, all taxes are being refunded. However, there was a need and there was a case identified that there was some more taxes and duties which are directly or indirectly levied by anybody in the entire supply chain, gets added or embedded in the export product and gets exported out of the country. Example of these duties are VAT and central excise on fuel. You bring in raw material, you pay transportation charges. You bring in finished goods, you pay transportation charges. You move your cargo from your factory or your warehouse to port, you pay transportation. All of these transportation has a part or as an input component of fuel, which your transporter charges you. And when he charges that fuel to you, he typically charges you cost of the fuel, which has excise and VAT inbuilt in it. So effectively, of course, you don't get to calculate that. You pay, let's say, rupees 100 per kilometer or whatever you have agreed for. But please understand the calculation inside it has VAT and excise inbuilt in it. Most of you do not, I mean, the fraternity which we follow or we are as a merchant exporter, but if you might have a warehouse and maybe you are also having a cold chain product, so you might require a genset. And if you have a genset or a generator, you are using diesel yourself. And when you go and buy diesel, you also pay excise duty and VAT. Not applicable to you, but there is mandi tax on certain agro commodities. When we export, at times you are required to give bank guarantees. At times you're required to do certain register certain documents, and there's a stamp duty paid on it, which doesn't get recovered by anybody. And most importantly, today, all of you merchant exporters are sitting in your offices doing 100% exports, probably, or maybe part. Maybe you have warehouses where export goods are stored, and you all pay electricity charges. And if you have looked at the electricity invoice, that electricity invoice has electricity duty in it. Whether you are in Maharashtra, whether you are in Gujarat, whether you are in Delhi, whether you are in any state, whether it is the Torrent Power or the Adani Power or whatever it is, whichever company it is, you are still paying electricity duty. Now, all these duties and taxes are indirectly or directly added to your cost of the goods, and hence your cost of goods is with duties and taxes. So the idea to give you RoDTEP is refund of these duties and taxes. And this is why I want to focus on this point and make you understand that why RoDTEP amount is very low. Because rightly put, when I'm saying all of these, in your mind, you are thinking that this is so small amount. How small it could be? Yes, And that's why this is not a promotion scheme. This is what you actually suffer. And more importantly, actually suffer on average basis. This is not on your individual costing. So maybe somebody has somebody deals with only cold storage and hence they have more electricity consumption. Somebody deals with non-cold storage and maybe they don't have or maybe have less consumption. No, it is based on an average data which has been taken by the councils, be taken by the ministries, by the department through exporters and through export promotion councils. And based on that, an average working has been done, which means the duty portion which we are referring to is very small. And number two, in that also, the average is looked into. Hence, your RoDTEP rates effectively look very, very, very small. So understand the basis of why it has been or what has been given to you, and then we can look forward. However, whatever small it is an entitlement which you are eligible to claim and you should be claiming. All right. Now, just to understand, the RoDTEP rates are announced by DGFT under a notification, which is notification number 19, of course, subsequently amended, but via a form or an appendix called Appendix 4R. So whenever you want to look at what is my RoDTEP rate, you will have to look at 4R. And I'm trying to give you this as a general information because many of you, along with chapter 30, you might be doing medical instruments, you might be doing some other parts also, some other things as well related to medical, maybe even medical books or something. So just giving you an idea how exactly the RoDTEP works. So you have to refer to Appendix 4R, which is available on the DGFT website. Typically, if you notice, the 4R has been designed in a fashion where you have three kinds of rates. So the first rate, as you can see on the screen, is rate, which is given on the percentage of an FOB value. Then you have the unit measurement, but you don't have any cap on the right-hand side in the column 6. So when you have nothing to do column 6, you have to ignore the unit of measurement at column 5, and simply means that if I export picture books or if I export drawing books, if I export newspaper, I will get 1.1% of my FOB value of export as RoDTEP. So if I'm exporting 100 rupees, I will get 1 rupee 10 paise as RoDTEP amount under this scheme. But if I go further and I look at example of carpet or druggets or mats, you will see there is a cap available. And it says carpet says 2.6% per square meter, but then there is a cap of 28.40 rupees, which means if I'm exporting a carpet, let's say, which is 1 square meter, and it is valued at 1,000 rupees, 1,000 into 2.6% is 26 rupees. I will get 26 rupees because 28 is higher than 26. So whichever is lower. But if I'm exporting a carpet at 1,500 rupees per square meter, 2.6% of 1,500 would, let's say, come to about 3,000 rupees. I will get 30 rupees. I will get maximum of 28.40, whichever is lower. So I will be entitled to the lower value. And third, which is in some cases, especially in case this is example from the locomotive or the car industry, where you have a rate which is not a percentage, which is a fixed value per unit of measurement. So if I export, these are some cars, if I export these vehicles, I'll get 8,100 rupees per unit of export. So this is the 3 items or 3 kinds of list which you need to look at. You have to specifically look at your. Now, good part is, and this is very important, I have been, in fact, today morning only I had some issue related to the same in textile, but let me give you this very clear understanding. RoDTEP is aligned, that is Appendix 4R is aligned HSN code wise at 8-digit level, which means you have to make sure that your entire 8-digit is matching with the tariff number, which you can see here on the screen, full 8-digit. So if your 8-digit is not there, then you will have to be, there'll be a challenge. You cannot get a RoDTEP benefit. So it is at full 8-digit level and not at 4-digit or 6-digit. Now, before we go into, and I'll show you a specific list of pharma, don't worry, but this is just to give you a contextual understanding. Now, importantly, whether your HSN code is there or not, there are certain conditions or certain things which are not eligible for RoDTEP. These are ineligible criteria. What does it mean? First item says imported goods which are exported, which means if you're doing a trading, you are importing goods from overseas, and as it is the same goods are exported out of India, you will not get RoDTEP. Currently, as I understand, none of the products fall under a minimum export price, which is related to pharma and others. But let's say we had a time where certain of your medicines were restricted. Look at the ineligible criteria number 4. Products which are restricted under export. Please understand what is the difference of restricted and prohibited. Prohibited, you can't export. Restricted, you can export provided you have a license or you have an authorization. You will be allowed to export under the authorization, but you will still not be eligible for RoDTEP. Understand the differences. Allowing you to export under the authorization is no problem, but getting RoDTEP is not eligible. So you or your HSN code will be there, but still, because the product is restricted, product is prohibited, you will not be eligible. One of the or 3 of the main problems at this point of time we are facing, of course, not directly related to you as a merchant exporters, but it is a common problem with mother industries as well. Number 1, if you are an SEZ unit, if you are an EOU unit, or if you are exporting under a discharge, that is, if you are using advanced authorization or DFIA to complete your exports. So if you are using advanced authorization, if you are an EOU or you are a free trade zone under SEZ, you are not eligible for RoDTEP. Of course, doesn't apply to you, but if you are exporting a used product, which is already manufactured and used, that means the second-hand product is not eligible for RoDTEP. So these are some 15 conditions, whether your HSN code is there, but if any of these conditions apply, you are not eligible for RoDTEP. So please be very clear that just because your HSN code is there, but you are, let's say, supplying to an SEZ, or you are an SEZ unit and you are exporting it out, you will not be eligible for RoDTEP. All right. Now, the news which came up and which cheered all of us was on 7th of December, where it was announced that some chapters, which is chemicals, pharma, chemicals under chapter 28-29, pharmaceuticals under chapter 30, and articles of iron and steel under chapter 73, would start getting RoDTEP benefit from 15th of December. In fact, increased the list from 8,700 HSN code to 10,342. In fact, now it is further increased because from 1st February, when the budget was announced, there were some changes in the HSN code. So that 10,342 is further increased to some 10,500 odd numbers. So these are the number of HSN code. Let me put it in a different manner. Only 10,342 are covered, which means there could be a situation that your HSN may not be covered. So do not consider, unless you look at Appendix 4E, and this is where your rates have been updated. You could see chapter 30 there. I'll zoom it for you for all the clarity. So example under chapter 30, serial number 10,032, HSN code is 30039021. Menthol crystals are available at there's a RoDTEP of 1.7%, but with a value cap of 28.8 rupees per kg. You go down, you will see penicillins at 30041010, 0.8%. Kg should be more, there is no value cap. So whatever is your FOB value multiplied by 0.8, these are all your medicaments under chapter 3004, and so on and so forth. You could just keep on going. Now, assuming you have, hypothetically, I have not seen it, But just look at this series here. Just look at this series here. I'll zoom it again back to you. So if you look at this series here, you will see 30, 0, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70. I'm not seeing the HSN code, but I'm assuming if there was 80, but we don't have RoDTEP on 80, we have directly 90. So if by any chance your product exported is 30041080, sorry, you do not have an RoDTEP rate. So don't just get carried away just because, oh, pharmaceutical is all covered. Look at the down. 3004, 2011, 12, 13, 14. Then let's assume 5, 6, 7, 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, 18 were there as a part of HSN code or are there. If they are there and you are exporting this, that is not covered. Straight away 19 is covered. So be very, very clear that the products which are covered under these HSN code at full 8 digits are only the ones which are eligible for RoDTEP. And this, as you can see, is roughly around 0.8% on most of the products under the pharmaceutical sector. As I was mentioning that under the post budget, the RoDTEP rates have got further updated, and that's 10,460 HSN codes are now updated effective of 15th of February. In fact, if you all remember, I think pharmaceutical industry had this challenge in the MEIS regime where HSN code had changed and then it was not changed in the MEIS schedule, and people were getting problem because shipping bill was filed with that HSN code, whereas MEIS was not available. Thankfully, when on 1st of February, when the budget was announced and under the Finance Act, the HSN codes have changed almost simultaneously. The HSN codes have changed in RoDTEP schedule also, and effective of 15th of February, that's where the changes impact. Even the RoDTEP changes have already got impacted. So we have 10,460 HSN codes which are covered under RoDTEP. So roughly around few thousand HSN codes or few hundred HSN codes related to your product will also be covered. Okay. So that gives you an idea of how and what RoDTEP is and what is eligible. Now let's look at how are you going to start claiming about it. If you have not started claiming about it, mind you, it is available from 15th of December. You should have started it. Better late than never. Start now. The very basics and very simple thing does not change. Okay, let me just give you a little upside before we start. Please understand, RoDTEP is not a cash benefit. RoDTEP comes to you in form of a duty credit script. Another reason why people are comparing it to the MEIS. It's almost same. No, but this is, so it's not a cash, it is a duty credit script which you can use it for your paying a customs duty, or you could transfer it to anybody else. All right. Now, but to claim, please understand that the entire process is system driven, automated, and you would have seen it in previous regimes. If things don't work on the system and now more effectively, then you will not be eligible. So first thing first, which probably you are doing it earlier, but now you will have to do again because in between, maybe your shipping bills were not getting accepted. So you had stopped because you were not eligible for RoDTEP. Now you are eligible for RoDTEP scheme. Your shipping bill should have every line item as a declaration called RoDTEP. You should mention in your shipping bill, and there's a specific area which is called as single window information, which your CH is well aware of. You will have to mention it is RoDTEP. And supportingly, there is a declaration to be given, which is pre-printed and it comes through the system, but you have to select it. It is called RD001. So RoDTEP and RD001 should get compulsorily selected in your shipping bill. Mind you, for people who understand shipping bill a little bit, when you file your shipping bill under drawback or any of the schemes, you have a scheme code 19. If it is free, it is 00. Whether RoDTEP or no RoDTEP, scheme code will not change. So there is no separate scheme code for RoDTEP. So you will have a shipping bill filed under 19 and for dirty drawback, but you have to select RoDTEP to make sure you get it through the system. I can be very clear and upfront and be a little blunt to tell you, if you don't say RoDTEP, I'm sorry, nobody will be able to help you out later on to say, make it RoDTEP. No can be made as RoDTEP. You have seen instances, I'm sure many of you would have heard about some, Mumbai High Court giving some good judgment against this problem. But understand it has come out how many years and for what value and who has gone to the courts. And still, in fact, it was just accepted and there was still further instructions pending on how it will be then for actually been given. So by the time you really get that benefit, I think it will be good legal battle to go, which we do not want. So be very clear. We will go for RoDTEP Y on all the shipping bills henceforth which are eligible for. In fact, not only shipping bill, line item wise. So you could have an HSN code which is eligible, some HSN code which is not eligible. Now, the entire scheme is under the Chapter 4 of Foreign Trade Policy, but it is going to be functional. It is going to be utilized, or the operations will be done by customs. So customs has a portal called ICEGATE, ICEGATE. If you already have the login IDs and password for ICEGATE, great. If you don't have, you will mandatorily require access to the ICEGATE login ID and password, for which you will require certain documents to create your login ID, which includes IC copy. It includes a board resolution and a partners or an authority letter of partners signed by all partners, all directors, a person's Aadhaar or ID proof. You may select the ports. You can add the ports later on. A class 3 digital signature is compulsory, and you can use this through Java and Java enabled Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge. Once you apply for ICEGATE ID, as the ICEGATE currently states, it takes about 72 hours. If you read I'll just zoom this for you. The first message says it takes 72 hours for the new ID to get activated. So please bear that it will take some time. But more importantly, I want you to read message number 5. If you don't have a login ID, please note when you apply for login ID, your email ID and the mobile number which you're giving for the registration should be tallied with DGFT as well as GSTN. We have had instances where we have waited for 7 days, that is more than 72 hours. And then we've got a message from email from the ICEGATE saying your registration is rejected because the mobile number and email ID doesn't match with DGFT/GSTN. So please remember 3 things, 3 places. One is DGFT, one is GST, and one is your ICEGATE. All 3, mobile number and email ID has to match. The practical difficulty what I've seen is you might be able to match your DGFT because you can update it. You are using the same in ICEGATE, but many times your GST login ID, GST mobile number and email is of your accountant, of your CA, of your GST consultant. Please edit it, please update it for some temporary period. At least once you get approval, then you may change it. But it is important to have these 3 in sync. Otherwise, you will not be able to access not register your ICEGATE. The process is simple. You can create your login IDs through the process. The steps are very simple. You can create your login ID, select an email ID, select your registration, and ultimately it will ask you your documents to be uploaded. Once uploaded, once digitally signed and submitted, it, as it said, 72 hours is required. Once you have a digital key verified login access, what you need is to first one time create a RoDTEP Ledger. Now you have to understand that every shipment you do, you are entitled for RoDTEP amount, right? So you do a shipment of $10,000 or 10,000 rupees, 0.8% is what you get it. Then you do something, you'll get it. So this has to be stored somewhere. And that is called as RoDTEP Ledger. Please remember the entire process is done at the ICEGATE. So you'll have to look at the login at the ICEGATE website. You can see in the option, it says eSCRIP. And under eSCRIP, you will first, for the first time, if you don't have, you will create a RoDTEP ledger. The ledger will be generated through an OTP verification. And it is nothing but a dashboard where you will be able to see all your details. To make you understand a little simpler, let me give an example that let's say Jyotika ji is a regular shopper at Shopper Stop. And every time she goes and she buys, she will have to give her membership number so that whatever she buys accordingly, let's say it is a 1% or 10% of points get credited and it will remain in that card, right? It will be remaining in her account. And then when she accumulates at a certain point, she'll say, okay, I want to use those. So either she use all of them or she use part of it or whatever she wants to use. Maybe she uses some and adds some more money. Exactly the same way RoDTEP Ledger will work. As you keep on exporting, your shipping bill will get processed. The ones which are only marked with RoDTEP Y, the ones which are available for RoDTEP under the particular HSN code. And once it starts going, you could go to the ledger. In fact, you could go and click on this shipping bill icon. It will open a page which is something like this. You select RoDTEP, you select the location. Now, this is important. Now, please understand this. Unlike previously, you could have exports happening from any port. And when I say any port, Nhava Sheva is one port, Airport Sahar is another port in Mumbai. There are two different ports. Delhi Airport is different, Delhi ICD is different. Okay, so when you export from every port is going to be separate. So you have to select which port you are referring to. So let's say Jyotika ji selects Sahar Mumbai, she selects the period, and then she'll be able to see all her shipping bills which have been processed successfully by the customs, that yes, she's eligible, everything is okay. Obviously, which means in a normal basic understanding, which we should all have, your shipping bill is filed, your Leo is okay, your EGM is okay, that is all done. And just like how your drawback gets processed, custom has already processed your shipping bill and it is now available. So example here, you can see there are 4 shipping bills for a different value: 910, 950, 851, 861, 2202, and 824. This is for Nhava Sheva. You could have Nhava Sheva, you could have inbound 4, whichever port you decide. All right. Now, please understand, this is the ledger. This is what your shipping bills are. Please note, this is what you have actually spent. This is what she has collected. Now, understand the timeline. And this is slightly confusing, so please bear with me and be a little attentive. The rule says you have a period of 1 year. Okay. The rule says you have a period of 1 year from this scroll date. Not from the shipping bill date, from the scroll date, which probably will be some days or maybe even in many cases a couple of months after you've actually exported. So you have 1 year from the scroll date to use this shipping bill amount, this amount, in form of and convert it into a RoDTEP script. It could be an individual script of 910, or it could be part of the larger script you can do. You can have maximum of 50 shipping bills in one single script. Okay. So please remember, this is 1 year. Now, what happens if it is 1 year goes away? Well, the system will automatically generate. And please look at this information of the customs. It says if the exporter does not exercise the said option of creating the script within 1 year, the system will automatically combine those shipping bill and generate it for you. We have had instances where people had scripts in October, November of last year, or October, November of 21. And in 22, post 22, they started creating automatic script because 1 year was over. But what if Jyotika ji has created, she took all these ports, and let's say all of these scripts or shipping bills were available to her and she had time, but she merged all of it and created a script today, 15th of March. Okay, ma'am, 15th of March 2023, you have generated a duty credit script. That is your RoDTEP script. That is your final voucher. That RoDTEP script will be valid for next 2 years. So please don't get confused. 1 year from the date of scroll to generate the script. Once the script is generated, you have 2 years to use it. After that, the script is of no value. Nothing is going to be there. We now have an electronic script. So unlike your previously things like your MEIS and others, You will not have anything in physical form. It will purely be a digital script number. So almost it's like just a number which you're going to use it while you want to, you want to update or you want to debit your script. 1 year within which you should use it, 2 years, 1 year within which you should create it, 2 years within which you should use it. Now, one challenge which you need to be aware of, which was not there in previous regime, as I said, it is port wise. Think about it. Let's say our friend Mr. Ravi has exports from Nhava Sheva as well as Mumbai airport. And just for hypothetical situation, Ravi ji has currently an exports of 50 shipping bills, but out of 50, 45 have been done at Nhava Sheva and 5 have been done at airport. See, I said 50 can be merged into one script, but unfortunately, Ravi bhai, you will be only seeing only 45 the moment you select Nhava Sheva, because those are the only ones which are shown in Nhava Sheva. So whether you like it or not, if you want, you can have 45 scripts issued individually from Nhava Sheva. Or you want, you could create all of it in one single script, your choice. But for the 5 different shipping bills which are lying at Sahar airport, you will have to compulsorily create another script, or maybe for multiple. In short, you could have minimum of 2 scripts at least and a maximum of 50 scripts. Choice is yours. But at no point of time, you can merge these 2 scripts together. Okay? But this is to generate the script. Ravi bhai, you have generated a script at airport, let's say from these 5 shipping bills, and you happen to import yourself a machine or a raw material at Nhava Sheva. You can use it anywhere in India, or you're transferring it. It's a freely transferable script. So you're transferring it. And let's say I am the person who is taking your script and I am the one who's going to get it. And I'm going to import some products at Chennai port. Please note, it has no problem of being utilized. It can be utilized at any port in India. But as far as you are concerned, unlike what we could do earlier, you cannot have 2 ports combined into one. Your Nhava Sheva or your airport will have a different script, and your Nhava Sheva will have a different script. I hope that is clear. Otherwise, it will be a confusion. Can you give us an example how to do? Okay, 1 second. I'll come to you. Logistics. What was that? I have 1 shipping bill in Chennai. Can I generate eSCRIP for the same? Or do I need 2 shipping? Oh, you can do 1 shipping bill as well, sir. iPhone. You can have 1 shipping bill as well. There's no problem. Minimum is 1, obviously. So you don't need 2. You don't need 3. You can do it for 1. 100% you can do it for 1. There's no problem whatsoever. Okay. So this is only from a perspective of if you want to combine multiple scripts. If you want, as I said, on my screen, you can see 4. I can have more, 4 shipping bills. I can create 4 scripts. Use 910 separately, use this separately, use that separately. There'll be 4 numbers, 4 scripts, no problem. Okay, so I think I've addressed that. Logistics, I will come back to you. Shall we merge multiple scripts? No, you cannot merge multiple scripts, Ashish bhai. You can merge multiple shipping bills. At the time of import, yes, no problem. So let's assume you have an import and you have, say, 50,000 2 scripts. And now you have a payment of 1 lakh rupees. Yes, you can merge 2. You can give 2 scripts. But it will be 2 different numbers which will give your CHA and he will file accordingly. But can you say, I want to merge it and create another script? No, you can't. Okay. Alternatively, let me put it like this. You have a script of 1.5 lakhs. You are making an import today and your custom duty payment is only 30,000 rupees. You 1,50,000 minus 30, 120 still remains. You have 2 years. You can keep on debiting unless and until you exhaust it and you are good enough. 2 years is the time period within which you should do it. So I think that should be it. How much time period can we select? Ravi bhai, you can select, you don't have to select, it is straight away 2 years. Okay, Vindas, 1 year from the scroll date to generate the script, does it mean different financial year shipments can be in one script? Yes, it will be. It can be. There is no concept of financial year, sir. You could have, in fact, in your case, it doesn't apply, but I have people who have started, who did not generate scripts, have scripts generated, have scripts from 21 and until probably 23 and or 22 December, and they have generated scripts in multiple years. That's no problem. You could have maybe a couple of shipping bills somewhere. You might have an odd port. Let's say you have done some exports from Bangladesh to Bangladesh, maybe by road. Probably that shipping bill is not getting reflected. You will go to the Petrol Customs, try to sort it out. It comes later on, whereas you have used the rest. You don't want to wait for that shipping bill to come. Please remember, every shipping bill is in separate. You cannot mix it together. No, none of them. There's no scheme which is related to financial year. I think there's some confusion. There is no financial year. There's no criteria of financial year anywhere, sir. I think there's some confusion. There is nowhere a criteria of financial year. In fact, in all of your schemes, it is all shipping bill. Drawback can be accordingly. Advance authorization is multiple years, so there's no problem. Okay, Mr. Mruyal. Okay, Mruyal, I'll come to that. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so let's just quickly go ahead, and I think then we'll take a couple of more questions. I'll ask people to unmute as well. So now that you're aware that you have a script valid of 2 years, what can you do with that script? Well, you have only two options. You can use it for yourself or you can transfer it to somebody. Okay. Why you can use it for yourself? You can use it to pay for your customs duty. Now, beautiful part is it is a script for a value of customs duty. Whatever is legally allowed to be imported and you have a duty payment, you can use that script. Please remember, it is payable against the basic customs duty only. It doesn't matter you had exported pharma and you're bringing garments. You had exported pharma, you're bringing in machineries. You are exported pharma, you are not using it. Then what do? You transfer it to somebody, and that person, maybe into food business, buys raw material related to food or buy something related to food. Doesn't matter. It's a value, and it's a value only which is considered. All right. Now, again, transfer will be electronics transfer, like how you transfer money in the bank account or you transfer your demat shares. Whatever you may take an example of, the RoDTEP Ledger will take care of that dashboard. There is an option called script transfer. You can, let's say, whomsoever you're transferring, they will have the account number. As you can see here, you will have your account number. They will have their account number. You put that details, put your OTP. This scripts which are lying in your account or that script will go out. It will go into their script. They can go into an approved dashboard and approve your scripts. So let's say you have a script worth 1 lakh rupees. You have transferred it. I will see it here. I will approve it. Now it will be part of my dashboard for 1 lakh rupees. What commercially you and I decide is between you and me. It has nothing to do with the system. All right. So that's how you're going to use it. The validity remains 2 years, irrespective of whether I use it or you use it. It doesn't change. It is 2 years from the date of issue, which means, let's assume that Ashish Bhai had decided that he will use it for himself. And for last 1 year, he was waiting, but he didn't get chance to use it. And now he wants to transfer. Please remember, the balance validity is 1 year only. It is not from the date of transfer. So the date the script is generated, the expiry date is locked. And Pankaj Bhai, after the expiry date, sorry, unfortunately, it is of no value. I used to say, when I used to have the script in form of paper, I used to say it will be tissue paper. In fact, now there is no paper also. The question of tissue paper bhi nahi hoega. It will be junk numbers. No more utilization, no more extension whatsoever is possible after 2 years. And the logic is very simple. You have full liberty to use RoDTEP yourself or transfer it within these 2 years. Then why don't you do it? Okay. So that's the whole point in terms of RoDTEP. Okay. Now let's quickly take questions. I think, this is what I had to give you. I can come to this slide again just to quickly say thank you to all of you for patiently hearing me out. But let me quickly ask people to unmute, and then Jyotika ji, if you want to take up questions further, we can ask people to unmute. So Mr. or Miss, I'm not too sure, it's Mural. Sir, if you can unmute BRC ka question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Muriel.
Muriel. Sorry.
No.
I think we'll all learn the pronunciations right by now.
Yes.
Yes, Muriel.
Sir, I had the question of means is this linked to BRCs to claim the RoDTEP?
Okay, so the good news is, let me now clarify this very clearly. Good part. Under MEIS, we were compulsory requiring the payment to come and only then the incentive was coming, right? In RoDTEP, just like your drawback, it is a refund of duties and taxes. The moment it is approved, you are entitled to RoDTEP benefit. Obviously, subject to that, you will bring in the foreign exchange. Okay, and if the payment doesn't come and if you have claimed RoDTEP, then you have to pay it back with interest. But as far as RoDTEP is concerned, you can claim it even without BRC. Please understand this. As far as law is concerned, you can claim it without BRC. BRC is not mandatory to claim RoDTEP. Understand this. Now, let us understand the practical side of it. As far as Muriel, you are concerned, you will be in a position to get scripts, use scripts without BRC. But when it comes to practicality, where you want to, let's say, sell it to me, when I want to buy the script, I want to make sure that there is no fallback coming, because tomorrow you don't get money from your buyers against those exports and then custom comes chasing me. Hence, understand the practical demand of people who are buying the scripts will insist that I need the BRC details against your RoDTEP scripts. It is a practical requirement, not legal requirement. As long as, let's say, you are giving it to somebody who knows you and or he is okay with you, as long as you are using it for yourself, BRC is not mandatory. You are not required to realize the money to claim RoDTEP. Yes, you are required in principle. If you don't get it, you will have to pay duty plus interest. But as far as in practice is concerned, where you might be selling or you might be transferring the script to people, and you might be come across that people will say, oh, I need a confirmation letter along with the list of BRCs, is because that it's a practical demand that I don't want to come back with problem, because tomorrow customs will say, you have not realized the money. Who has used the script? Mihir has used the script, so catch hold of Mihir. I hope that is clear. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes.
That was my main point, basically, because I have been collecting the scripts right from December. So now I have understood this. So I'm going to transfer the script. I have to see whether the BRC is clear or not. Okay.
Yeah. So because they will want, so people to whom you are transferring, either they have to trust you or they will insist for it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
In the market, they will not trust you. They will want it. As simple as that.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. But tomorrow, if you have your own imports, nobody can stop you.
Right, sir. Right. Sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Del, you have a question. Who's Del? I don't know, but yeah. Del, if you can unmute. What taxes are involved? Meaning, do you want to know what taxes are part of the RoDTEP or what taxes are involved in supply? I'm slightly confused. If you can unmute, Del, we can talk, or if you can further put a question. Okay, Pankaj bhai, I have clarified after 2 years, amounts get lapsed. Yes, you have not utilized, I'm sorry. But I mean, I have a slight different question, Mr. Pankaj. Why would you hold it for 2 years? Any reason? Pankaj bhai, if you can unmute.
Sir, basically,
Go ahead, sir. I can hear you.
We have very limited import, basically. Sometimes we have a more export and less import. So okay. How can we utilize it? So
sir,
that's the reason
I have a very simple thing. It is freely transferable. Na? There is a market open enough to buy scripts. Why you have to wait?
Okay. And
now I'll give you a practical problem also, and I'll give you a practical idea. So you will say, if I sell it in market, I don't get 100%, I get some 96, 97. All right. Now think about this. 100 rupees script, not used for 1 year. What is the capital cost? 6%?
Right.
तो आज आप बेचोगे, आपको 5% में डिस्काउंट में मिल रहा है. Why not use it? So even if you consider it of selling it when you're not going to use it, using it after 1 year is more expensive in terms of finance.
Okay.
Because today you're, let's say, getting 95 for 100 rupees script. After 1 year, when you use that money which you have, hold on for 1 year, it is at least costing you more in terms of percentage.
Right.
So my point is, it is an open market. You can easily transfer it. I'm not too sure, but if within Fpme also people are there to buy, who requires you can use them, or there are ample sources available in the market. There are ample importers who want to buy, and at a comfortable rate, you are able to encash it. So 2 years period is, and at a point where you are aware that your imports are not likely to happen. Acha, let me put another idea. Your export is regular.
Yes.
So you will always have scripts being generated.
Yes.
So why hold? आज तो मालूम है ना कि next 3 months में कोई import नहीं है. Sell it off.
Okay.
The day you have import, that is also not going to happen overnight. You know import is going to come. Now you know these exports will happen. Hold on, use those amount, exactly those amount related scripts. Balance your scripts, you sell it off. Then you utilize it 100%.
Okay.
As you say, your exports are going to come regularly. So जब भी import आएगा, let's say your import comes in future, let's say in December of 23, you are planning, right? And you have calculated roughly my duty is going to come 1 lakh rupees.
Right.
Now you know now my shipments are happening, and let's say you have a balance of 50,000 as RoDTEP. So then you will keep on accumulating it so that 1 lakh is being made. But if you don't have a plan, please resell it. So don't wait. In fact, please start encashing it. I have seen so many people who are, I have seen people especially who are, holding RoDTEP scripts with some anticipation. First of all, iska koi rate ya iska koi change nahi hai. Jo hai wo yahi hai. Your exports have happened. Today it is 0.8. It is fixed.
Okay.
So point is, tomorrow if let's say rate bada ya rate gata, you will not get any impacted. So don't with an anticipation care. Maybe it will change or something. Nothing is going to happen for the export which has already happened. So you have a very clear, if you have done 1 crore, 0.8% is your benefit. Take it, khatam.
Got
Take
it.
it, utilize it. Right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, who else? Poco X4. How to claim RoDTEP through ICEGATE? I have to do anything after generating a RoDTEP scheme amount, or it generates scroll automatically? Poco X4, who's that? If you can unmute, I can and explain what's your challenge. Parag bhai, my details are already there. Fpme, if you are a member of Fpme, I'm sure it's available with every Fpme member. You can want me, but let me put up. We will try and help. Yes, Poco X4.
Yes, sir. Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Hello.
You are audible. Go ahead, Poco X4.
Sir, my concern is after a scheme account generated in my account, then after that, what I have to do? It's automatically created in my account, or I have to go through anything?
So after you have created your account, and you have exported from 15th of December, okay, you can go to an option. Let me erase all this so you know. Okay, so this is your ledger, which will be seen after you have created account on the ICEGATE.
Yeah, sir. It's showing 95,000 in my account. Account balance.
1 second, sir. So you will go and click on shipping bill. When you click on shipping bill, it will give you this, and these are your shipping bills which are available to generate RoDTEP script.
Okay.
Okay. After
Yes, sir.
generate scripts, let's say
Mhm.
आपने पर कर करके आपने एक script generate कर ली, which is of in your case of 95,000.
Yes, sir.
It will go away from here and it will be available in the script details.
Okay.
अब ये 95,000 की script आपके पास available है. There is a start date and there will be an expiry date.
अच्छा sir.
In that period, you have to use it. Import करने के लिए use कर लो. अगर नहीं import करना है तो किसी को transfer कर लो.
Okay. Okay, sir. Understand.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Okay. Chirag bhai.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chirag bhai. Tell me.
So we have a question that many times we export to the OPEC countries like Cuba.
Yes.
So at that time, as you mentioned earlier, that we will get the RoDTEP even before the payment comes. So can we take the credit of the OPEC countries?
So answer to your question is, see, you are entitled to take RoDTEP benefit. Understand this.
Yes.
Okay. However, there is an underlying obligation also that you will realize the money what you export. If you don't do it, you have claimed RoDTEP, you will have to return it back with 15% interest.
But sir, we will receive the payment, but the bank does not issue the BRC. So my shipping bill will not get utilized. It will
So
be.
I understand. So as far as so Chirag, there is two aspects. As far as the fact remains that the payment will get released, you receive the payment or not? Answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now there is a challenge with OPEC countries. There used to be, or there was a scenarios in the other schemes like MEIS where we had other mechanisms of when payment is coming from OPEC, they were accepting without BRCs also.
Okay.
So as long as you are going to receive the payment, I don't see any challenge there you are going to have. Yeah, be prepared that you might get a letter from customs saying, hey, your shipping bill is outstanding. Please return RoDTEP amount. Now you'll have to explain because they don't have any detail. They have only shipping bill number saying outstanding. So you will have to do some supporting, but as long as you have received the money,
Yes.
it is credited to your bank account. It is a procedural problem with the banks are unwilling to give you BRC. That I don't see should be a challenge or there should not be any hindrance for you to get your incentive.
Okay.
As far as that is concerned. Now, if you
But
don't get the money, then obviously you are in trouble.
Okay, but in this case also the customs guy does not understand this thing. Even if we have received the payment, even in the past I have experienced this. I have received all the payments of my OPEC country shipments, but the custom people does not understand this. They are like that. We want BRC. We are not in the concern of your payments and anything.
No, they cannot do that. There is a, I mean, I understand their upfront thing is, but even if they give you a show cause or anything, there is a mechanism to reply and fight it. It's a legal thing. If you have received the payment, BRC is a documentary evidence. Nothing. There is it is a valid scenario. Even if there is a challenge, this is it's fightable. You should fight it out, and it's a cause where you are correct. I mean, there's no logic of not paying it. Now, another aspect.
Yes.
Chirag bhai, is, I mean, this is a completely practical scenario. I'm not saying that do it. I would always suggest you please go ahead and do it. But the scenario is how much of your export is to Cuba and how much is that amount coming to?
There are nearly around 8 to 10 shipments to the Cuba.
Okay.
So
I don't mean only Cuba. It could be OPEC countries at large.
Yes. Even in the Iran also, I think Iran or Iraq is on the OPEC list, but there also we do shipments.
Yes.
But we have not calculated the amount because earlier also I do not used to take the MEIS benefit also of the OPEC countries.
That was available. There is a separate notification which used to be available, and they had allowed at a later point of time with credit advice and the details without BRC. See, MEIS, there was a different scenario. MEIS you couldn't do because BRC nahi generate hota.
Yes.
So that was a problem there.
Okay, but that the another scenario we were not aware. We have not received the notification or we were not aware about it. So we have not claimed the MEIS benefits of the Cuba countries or the OPEC countries.
Okay.
So
That's
now for the
now you can't do
how
it.
can we? Or the time is past.
We are too late. We are too late.
Okay.
Yeah, we are too late, I would say. That's gone. I mean, now that's nowhere going to be.
So yes, for now. So in the road trip, should I take the benefit?
I don't see a reason why not. I don't see a
Okay.
reason why not. As long as you're going to receive the money, I again repeat, if you're going to receive the money,
Yes,
and
I
my
received the payment in advance.
and my point is, I know I'll tell you, Chirag, this is another problem where the problem starts. Because when you receive the payment in advance, in most likely cases, you are not going to give the invoice to your bank. You're only going to tell them it is an export advance, give me the credit. So they will without any problem, they will give you the credit. Because if you give them the invoice in advance and say Cuba, they will raise hands. उन लोग हाथ नहीं लगाएंगे. So what we generally do is we just say it's an export payment and they will settle it out. Once you export and you give them the shipping bill and it is Cuba, they will say, sorry, I will not settle it.
Yes.
So this is the problem. I understand completely. I mean, we need to probably highlight this. My also request would be try checking with multiple banks. ऐसा नहीं है कि all banks are against it. I know you have to do so what is called as bank shopping, but there are these new banks who are comfortable to handle it. There are banks who are able to handle it even if you tell them well in advance. And probably it could help you, at least not in the old cases, but in the new case, if you are able to get in touch with some new banks and if they are able to specifically handle Cuba or other countries,
Okay. If you have any bank in your suggestion, if you can give me any suggestion.
I will check. I have no idea whether they are doing Cuba or not. Let me check with some banks. If there's something, I will pass on the message to Jyotika ji or anybody at Fpme and maybe they'll pass it on to you. Sure? Chalo. Great.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Samir Bhai has a question. Samir Bhai, if you can unmute. This is a very interesting thing. Mr. Samir, if you can unmute, I'll tell you what is the challenge.
Yeah.
So Samir, you
Yeah,
are having an ICEGATE login. You have
Yeah.
an ICEGATE login, but it is a login which was generated prior to, I mean, in scenario of 2017-18 where you wanted the GST details.
correct.
So it is a login ID without ICEGATE, I mean GST, sorry, it is without a DSC, that is digital signature verified. So in fact, you can see on my screen, there are, this small tab, whereas if you log on to your screen, you have a long list.
Correct.
This is because you are working on an old system, which is a non-DSC verified. If you go at the right bottom, somewhere bottom say third hai, convert from simplified to DSC.
Okay.
And as I suggested, you will have to add these documents, your IC copy, if you're a proprietorship, then it's fine. But if you are a partnership, then an authority letter signed by all partners, your proof, use your class 3 signature, and landing, when you click on that simplified to DSC, you will land to this page.
Okay.
And it will take about less than 72 hours, but it will take some time, and they will convert your login ID into a DSC verified ID.
Okay, got it.
Then you will be able to do it, sir.
Okay, then only I can able to see all this.
Yes, sir.
And all that.
Yes.
Okay, Mihir, thank you. Let me do it then.
Please. iPhone. I have some shipping bills for iPhone. You can unmute by the time I'm reading this. I have some shipping bills for which a scroll is not generated, even though shipping bill is dated December. Is there a way to follow up? Yes. iPhone. Is
yes,
it
sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Bhavya.
15th of December?
Yeah, it is after 15th of December. So I have some shipping bills which has RoDTEP value mentioned in the shipping bill. The item has RoDTEP value, yes, mentioned. But still, as I check the details on the portal, I'm not being able to see the scroll number or the shipping bill number.
Two things. Just check with your CHA. Has the EGM been filed on that shipping bills? Because understand, agar EGM nahi file hua hai for whatever illogical or logical reason, the customs has not processed your RoDTEP.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, if you have claimed duty drawback on this, check have you got duty drawback, because ideally, what is the process which custom follows? Just like drawback, it goes through what is called as risk management system, where customs will verify the incentive claim, the drawback and the RoDTEP. Ideally, if the drawback has been processed, even RoDTEP would have been processed. But if drawback bhi nahi hua hai, to uska matlab your shipping bill is yet not processed by the customs.
Right.
So it is pending. The only solution is your custom broker who will have to go to the drawback section. Check, is there a problem on the shipping bill? Maybe there's an alert, maybe there's a query on the drawback or any processing. And once that gets processed, only then it will be reflected in that tab of shipping bill.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. I've seen two questions not related to RoDTEP. I will answer those. Chirag bhai and Royal, just give me a minute. Before that, let us quickly close on the questions related to RoDTEP so there's no confusion. Any further questions on RoDTEP, by the way, guys? Or we are sorted? Jyotika ji, I can't see if you have any questions, if you are able to confirm. Otherwise, we can move on to the last two questions which are there. Okay, yes. Madam Mural.
Sir Muriel, sorry.
Mural, sorry. Yes.
Sir, regarding MEIS, which was available up to December 20, those scripts which were not, means now the BRCs have come, but due to the delay in receipt of BRCs which have been cleared now, is MEIS open now?
Khatam. Nothing doing. No, nothing allowed. The software is closed, the system is closed, the MEIS is closed, everything is closed.
Okay. As of now, so it is closed only, complete.
Everything is closed.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Chirag, advance authorization. Chirag.
Yes, yes. We have one advanced license, means we have imported some raw material and we have exported the same to the Cuba.
Same.
Means the finished products.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Against the advanced license, because we have exported to Cuba, we are not getting the BRC, and we are not able to close the bank guarantee and the advanced license in the customs.
No, you so do one thing. Let me quickly check. I think there is. Okay. So what you can do is I'm sure that advisory mail is working, but still, my email ID is right here on the screen. Okay. There is a Fpme email ID as well, which is I think advisory or advisory. I just want to be sure of it. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, yes.
So quickly, you can send me an email. I'll send you the notification and the relevant para, which allows you to do that irrespective of whether you have received. As long as you have received the money, there is no problem.
We have received the money, but not even the customs is listening, not even the bank is helping us in this case.
No. But has DGFT given you redemption letter?
No. They have also not given us the redemption letter. They are asking for the BRC.
No, they cannot ask. There is a process available. There is a method available. We can just look into it. Which DGFT you are? I mean, Bombay.
So
or
can you give me your reference number or anything so I can be in touch with you after this event?
My numbers are all there on the screen. My numbers are all there on the screen. On the slide which you are seeing, all my details are there.
Sir, will this presentation be shared?
100%.
Okay, because now we cannot see your number. The slides.
You can't see my number. 1 second. Arey, aisa kaise?
Mihir, by details is there on our website, Fpme website.
Yeah. Details are there. Advisory email is there. You don't need to even remember my IDs or my details. Send it to Fpme. They will forward it to me. If your only my request is if you are connecting to me directly, I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but let me know you are an Fpme member, because otherwise might happen that I might be talking to you in a different capacity. So
no, sir.
When you write to me, say you are an Fpme member, but my request would be route it to Fpme. The reason is when FPME managing committee knows about it, they would have already had similar situations with other members. They can support you with that also. So,
Okay, sir.
Chirag, which DGFT office is this? Is it with Mumbai or it is with Gujarat?
Mumbai.
Send me the detail. Just give me the details. There is a clear provision for OFAC countries. There should not be an issue as long as you have received the payment.
Yes.
BRC is not a problem. We will be able to solve this out.
Okay. I will be in touch with you.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think I'm done. Jyotika ji, all yours. Hello. Okay, I think Jyotika ji is away. No, she's there. You'll have to unmute. You have to unmute.
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Okay, I think I'm done. All to you. All back to you.
Yes. So, any more questions? Anyone? No, I guess, yeah. So thank you, Mihir bhai. This was indeed, again, one more wonderful session from you. And there is lots to learn from you. So thank you again. And like we mentioned, in case anyone is having any more questions, the email ID is mentioned on the screen. You can send your mail and we can route it through Mihir bhai.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll end the session then in that case. Thank you.